Welcome to Smack Talk. He's the human research machine. By God, it's Gaz.
Oh, you for that. This is Rich. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the top 10 of wrestlers that you didn't know wore a mask.
Yeah, and they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for us pesky kids in our list.
Jinkies.
So, starting our list at number 10 is KWANG, who was with the WWF between 1993 and 1995, I believe.
Yep, that's true. KWANG was an enhancement talent, so he did have quite a few matches against some of the bigger guys. He was kind of a mid-level jobber. It was around the time where the WWF wanted to give their jobbers characters and try and get people invested, and hopefully if somebody took to them, then they could push them up into full-blown mid-carders, really.
That makes sense. Yeah, I quite like the story you've told there. Gaz paints a lovely, pretty picture, and you might be surprised to know that KWANG was none other than
Savio Vega.
Savio Vega?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Do you want to give the people a bit of insight into Savio Vega if they're not familiar with early 90s WWF?
Yeah, early 90s, yeah. He was brought in 92, 93. They tried him with a couple of gimmicks. Then he became KWANG. And that was a way for him to wrestle some of the mid guys, see how he worked with them. And then they decided to push him onto bigger and better things. And they made him Savio Vega, who was the leader of
Los Barriquas?
Yes, well done. Well done.
Remembered.
And they had lots of gang feuds with Disciples of Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's the biker gang.
The biker gang with chains. And
precursor to Aces and Eights.
Yeah. And the rest is history.
Absolutely. Coming into our list at number 9 is KATO of the Orient Express.
So the Orient Express were a tag team that I absolutely loved. They were made up of KATO, Pat Tanaka were the main guys, although they did a whole demolition thing where they had a third guy, but we won't worry about that. The guy under the mask of KATO wasn't actually from the Orient, so that's why they had to put him in a mask. You can't have somebody from the Orient Express not actually from the Orient. Anyway, it was none other than
Paul Diamond of Bad Company.
Yeah, Bad Company, you can research these guys, were a tag team that were around for years. They were in WWF, WCW, ECW, really good tag team, Paul Diamond and Pat Tanaka. And Paul Diamond's done a lot of training. There's a lot of guys, if you research him up on Wiki, he trained a lot of guys that you'll know and love.
At number 8 is the Sultan, who was with WWF from, 96, 98?
Yeah, pretty much. Sultan, he's really cool looking. Just look at him, with the bald head and the mask and stuff. He had quite a cool entrance with all the robes and that. This was around the same time as they were doing the whole jobbers need to be characters. But he was quite cool. Was quite a flip from the guys he was playing before, so nobody twigged who it was for quite a while, and had a good feud with The Rock, or Rocky Maivia at that time.
Maivia? Do you mean Maivia?
Maivia, sorry. Yeah, it's quite cool, and he was none other than
the fattest ass from Samoa. It's Rikishi. Number 7, continuing our Oriental theme with Shinobi, who was also later known as Avatar. Can you tell us a bit more about this guy?
So this was 96. Shinobi Avatar came out giving it all but was actually pretty dire. The guy under the mask was brought in by Jim Cornette. Really good wrestler. Had a few other little gimmicks as well, but they couldn't make anything stick. But he did stay with the company for a long, long time and got a really good mid-card run, I reckon. Yeah. And Shinobi Avatar was
the Lazarus Man himself, none other than the leader of the Job Squad, Al Snow.
Al Snow.
What a guy.
Brilliant wrestler. Has trained lots of people. Trained Dan Severn for UFC. It was a
Dan Severn, really?
Yeah, random bit for you.
Wow.
And like you said, Lazarus Man. He looks better today than he does back then. So pretty cool.
Couldn't argue with that point. And it's Mick Foley's best friend.
Yeah, always a winner.
Number 6 is the Black Phantom. WWF. What years was he with WWF?
94, 95, not quite 96.
Okay, so by that sort of time we're getting towards Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Pushing towards darker gimmicks, things
Yep.
like that, which is a nice little segue, which I hadn't scripted whatsoever. Takes us into who this guy really is, which is Gangrel, character I'm very familiar with. Love the gimmick. I'm a big fan of vampire gimmicks, which is it's just something that works with wrestling.
Yeah.
It's hokey enough that people can
buy into
kind of
it
laugh
a
at
little
it.
bit.
But yeah, but you can buy into it because it's something that feels like it fits. Like Undertaker, was such a good gimmick because it was dark, it was different to every one of the larger than life guys. Gangrel, obviously the leader of the Brood. With Edge and Christian initially, and then the new Brood with the Hardys, which was, what was that, 99, I think?
I'd say 99.
Yeah, between that sort of time, obviously, and the Hardys broke away with Michael P.S. Hayes, and the rest is history. But Gangrel, fabulous wrestler, really good guy, and that is our number, what was that number?
Number 6, Black Phantom.
Glad you were counting.
Yeah.
In at number 5 is none other than Super Liger, who was with New Japan Pro Wrestling in 1997.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, 97. His character, every now and again in New Japan, same as a few other places, if a character's popular, they'll bring out a different version of him, somebody else under the mask, they'll have like the Power Rangers. Like if he's popular enough, they'll make a white, a green, pink, blue, black one. And Super was the same kind of vein as that. The only problem was the guy they used, amazing wrestler, but he hated wrestling in a mask. So they only had a handful of matches, botched quite a few easy moves, and openly admits that he couldn't get on wrestling in a mask.
I think he said it was to do with the vision being impaired, wasn't it? Through the and the eye holes of the mask, some of them are quite restrictive, so it's hard to see what you're doing.
Yeah, so big props to the guys that wrestle in a mask constantly.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more.
But it was none other than...
Well, you said it yourself, a fantastic wrestler, and can't say any more about it. You'll know who it is. Y2J Chris Jericho.
Really cool. And when you see... Well, you can see it now with the hair, but people didn't know at the time. And he was 97. He was only just coming up through the ranks.
Yeah.
WCW.
Yeah. Would have been his days in WCW transitioning, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Sort of. He just started feuding with the cruiserweights, and then he went on to be the Lion Tamer, then eventually signed with WWF.
Oh, we mustn't forget as well, he was with ECW for a time.
Yep.
Had some really great matches there too. And cruising in at number 4 is Wild Pegasus, or the Pegasus Kid. This is all you, buddy.
So this is a little, well, it's not really a hidden gem, but started wrestling under the gimmick in 1989. Was later unmasked, but carried on performing as the Pegasus Kid or Wild Pegasus. This was New Japan. Did quite a few matches even up until probably about 97, 98. Really good feud with Liger during mid-90s and against Tiger Mask. Various people. You can find a lot of good matches with this guy by giving a little search.
Yeah, you're going to need to do a bit of research because obviously with the events that happened, it's harder to find any of his stuff now on the network and that sort of thing. It's none other than member of the Radicals, Chris Benoit, which we all know what happened there. We don't need to cover that. No,
we'll just
but leave it
look to his wrestling.
Yeah,
amazing
absolutely.
Wrestler.
Great legacy as a wrestler.
Yeah.
So we're into our top 3, and at number 3 is the WCW Halloween Phantom.
Yeah, this is great. This is awesome. WCW booking. The WCW Halloween Phantom appeared at Halloween Havoc.
That was a shock.
Yeah, which was great. Introduced by Paulie Dangerous, or brought out by Paulie Dangerous, obviously Paul Heyman. Loads of cool little vignettes, sort of Phantom of the Opera kind of stuff. Look at the hat. Isn't that cool? They did well. Dressed the dude all in black to cover up his physique, because you would have told by how good he looked.
It is
to be
interesting
fair.
that you can tell wrestlers from their body shapes. Like,
especially
this guy.
Yeah, definitely.
He was chiselled in stone.
Just muscles where just everywhere. Anyway, he was none other than
the ravishing one himself, Rick Rude.
And they did an amazing reveal as well, which was the cape back and hat off, and Paul Lee once again really hamming it up, and it was just really cool. And I didn't really know. I had to really dig deep to find out about this. But yeah, that's our number 3.
Yeah, this was quite a hard one to get any information on at all, wasn't it? But yeah, great shout. And our number 2 pick is the Black Tiger.
Yeah, this is New Japan again.
Oh, of course,
93 to 95. There may be some other sporadic matches as well, but same with Liger. Once something's popular, so you had Tiger Mask.
I was going to say this is obviously related to Tiger Mask.
Yeah, the mask was only a little variation with colour as well, but really good series of matches you can find with Pegasus Kid. Really good wrestler, made the transition over very well to New Japan, built a good name for himself, then went back to WCW, made an even bigger name for himself, and then became absolutely superstar. Black Tiger was none other than...
It was Eddie Guerrero. What a name.
Yeah.
Guy has a legacy that spans generations. His WCW work with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What a wrestler.
Yeah, and this was around the time WCW and New Japan were trading cruiserweights. So if you get a chance to watch WCW cruiserweight stuff from the mid-90s, it is top notch.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the names, just great.
Yeah, pretty much anything you watch now with Lucha Underground, all the AAA, these guys paved the way.
Yeah, definitely.
Eddie was at the forefront.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Also, another guy who came into ECW back in the day as well.
Yeah, did a good job down there as well.
Yeah, so there you go. Eddie Guerrero at number 2. Finally, our number 1 pick, and this one is so good. Someone who we're all going to know straight away.
Yeah. It's like you might be able to tell from the picture, maybe not. This the Punisher, or Texas Red as he was called, under the mask as well. USWA and Memphis. This would have been sort of late 80s. Amazing wrestler, one of the top wrestlers ever.
Yeah, all time, absolutely all time.
All time. There's none other than
the Phenom, the Dead Man. How many nicknames does this guy have? The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Surefire first ballot Hall of Famer if he's not in already, because frankly he owns the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What can you say? Guy's a legend.
Yeah, but do a bit of research. There's an amazing match of the Punisher against Steve Austin. Really good match. Steve Austin's completely ripped, and he's got a Ric Flair mane on him.
Wow. So is this before his Stunning Steve Austin?
Yeah. This is way before. This is probably 89.
Oh, right. So this is way back.
Yeah, 89 or 88. USWA, I think it's under.
Oh, you did say, yeah.
But that's a really good match to check out. And it's odd to see two icons that you're so used to seeing in two gimmicks completely stripped back, and you can just see them for pure wrestlers.
That's amazing.
But it's worth checking out, and any sort of stuff against Lawler in Memphis. Lawler, we've got a lot to thank for the amount of people he's brought through. So that was our number 1.
Brilliant. That's a great list, dude, and you've done a lot of research on that, so credit to Gaz for most of that, as you can probably tell. But we'll be bringing you more top 10 lists in the future. The human research machine will be bringing the material. And just like to say thank you for watching. Obviously, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of our general meanderings through the history books.
Big thumbs up and likes and shares, all that
Follow
kind
us
of
on
stuff.
the Twitter machine.
And the book face.
The book face, God, the book face. But all that's left to say is goodbye and good night.